Ho ho! Merry Christmas, friends! That's right, we have a bonus Christmas video, and this one is going to be so cute and so cozy because I've decided that I want to make all of my Christmas gifts this year. Well, most of them anyway. I'm not in a situation where I have a lot of people to give presents to at Christmas, but I do take my gift giving very seriously. Although I have not been smart and pre-planned. I'm not starting this in September, as you can tell by the hair, but I feel like there is still time to smash out some wonderful gifts for some wonderful people. Obviously, we're going to be doing some knitting, but if you can believe it, I've picked up another hobby recently. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But for the knitting, I have at least two things that I definitely want to get through. The first is I want to make a dress for my niece, and I have found a pattern that has some lace work. Ambitious as ever, I know. So this is definitely going to be the big project of the video, but I'm really keen to get started. And if I can pull it off, I think it's going to be beautiful. The second project I have in mind is not going to use up all of this yarn, but my good friend Sammy, who lives over in the US, has requested a pair of socks. She saw that I recently made a pair for Blair, and so she asked me if I wouldn't mind knitting her a pair. So I'm going to message Sammy and see if any of the colors that I already have suit her fancy. Beyond knitting, as I mentioned, I have picked up another hobby. Why did I need another hobby? I didn't. I'm not going to lie to you. I just woke up one day and decided that I wanted to learn how to watercolor paint. And so for the last 3 weeks or so, that's exactly what I've been doing. And recently I found this little tin that has postcards made out of watercolor paper. And since then I have not been able to get out of my head the idea of painting some Christmassy postcards for some people. And I'm hopeful that after just a few weeks, my painting is going to be good enough. Depending on how that goes, I do also have very ambitious plans, and I'm going to whisper because he's in the other room, of also maybe painting Blair a larger painting of one of his favorite birds. If you don't know, one of my other hobbies, because I have so many now apparently, is birding. Blair and I bird together really regularly. I just love taking my binoculars and identifying the birds and watching them. Blair's kind of secondary hobby has become photographing the birds. And so we have so many gorgeous photos that he has taken of just the most incredible birds. And it's such a special thing that we get to share together. And so look, I know that I am far from an expert, and whatever I attempt is going to be more cute than artistic, but I had the thought that it might be nice if I tried painting maybe one of his photos or even just one of his favorite birds. But that is something we can talk about later. And then of course I'm going to do some baking. You might not know because, I don't like to brag too much. My specialty is a gingerbread with lemon icing. And every year since I've been making this for 8 or 9 years now, I like to try and make a loaf in the last few days before Christmas for my work colleagues. Obviously working in retail, especially now working as a children's bookseller, Christmas is the happiest and the busiest time of year by a long mile. It's truly kind of exhausting, and so I think it's always really nice that, I get to share a really lovely homemade delicious Christmassy cake for that final leg of the busy Christmas season. Oh, and then I suppose the other thing that I will be baking for people that I care about is this video for you, because of course I'm always so grateful to you, and so I really hope you enjoy spending the next month or so together as I make a whole bunch of Christmas presents for the people that I love. So let's get to crafting. Hello, I have made quite a bit of progress on Lucy's dress. I mean, it's upside down. It's going to go this way. I don't know how well you can see, but this is going to be the top part. We still got to make some straps. And I've done all the increases, and I've just been knitting stockinette for a while. The only thing I've been a bit worried about is how long I'm supposed to make this. Lucy is relatively short, so I don't want to make it too long, but I also don't want to overdo it and then make it too short. Anyway, I'm just going based off vibes, and this is going to block out a little bit. So I have decided that we have reached that point where we're at the correct length for just this stockinette part, and I think we're ready to get started on the lace. So I have gone through and put in a whole bunch of stitch markers for I think it's every 12 stitches is the repeat for the lace. It might be a little unnecessary because the lace is very simple, but I just find that having that, at least for when I'm getting used to a new kind of lace pattern, just makes it easier, mentally to keep track, but also it helps me catch mistakes a lot faster. And I feel like I have gotten better with lace and figuring out how to tink and fix my mistakes, but obviously the quicker you figure out you've made a mistake, usually the easier it is to fix it. And we're ready to start on the lace. Okay, I have some good news and some not so good news. Where should we start? Let's start with the good news. I kind of just like locked in. I don't know how else to describe it. I locked in and I finished the dress, at least the main body of the dress anyway. Look at it. I have not blocked it yet, obviously. So it's a little bit wobbly, especially the lace. But like, I think it's going to look so pretty once it is blocked out. And I don't know if you can see these little like edges. The bind off itself took me so fucking long. But I think it was worth it because it looks so cute. Now, obviously, there are still 3 things left to do. 1 is weaving in the ends. 2 is blocking. But before we can even get there, I need to knit the straps. And essentially, they look like they're just 4 I-cords that we then like sew on to the dress. So we've done the vast majority. I really don't have all that much left to do on this. I'm really hoping that this is going to be a good fit for little Lucy. Like I said, she's a little over 3, but she is quite short. So I ended up knitting this 2 inches shorter than it was intended to be in the pattern, which I'm thinking is probably going to mean that it ends up being about 1 inch shorter after blocking. That's kind of my vague notion of what I'm doing here. Obviously, the straps are going to be adjustable because you essentially just tie them. So that is going to give us some wiggle room, and I'm hoping that that will mean that this is actually going to fit her. But I mean, she's like 2,000 kilometers away from me, so she's not able to try it on until Christmas Day. So we're just going to have to persevere and keep our fingers crossed. But I am so stoked with how this is looking. I think we're doing a great job so far. And I mean, obviously the dress itself is pretty simple, but like the lace at the bottom and like the cute little edge definitely does make this feel a little bit extra special. I'm a little apprehensive about the fit, but I'm also feeling optimistic about where we're at. So we're just going to continue. I need to knit those I-cords. Look what just came off the blocking mats. It's done. I can't believe it's done. Lucy's little dress is completely finished. I've got the cute little tie. Oh my God, it's so cute. I've got the cute little ties and the dress. It's looking so good. I think my knitting looks damn good. Like, I mean, the little ridge up the top there, my I-cords, and then of course the lace. The lace at the bottom here. I kind of think they look a little bit like Christmas trees. So maybe like seasonally appropriate, I guess. I really hope little Lucy likes it. I really hope she likes it. And either way, I mean, she gets to have a really cute knitted dress that her auntie Katey made for her this Christmas. That's kind of nice, right? Anyway, with that out of the way, it is now time. I mean, we've got a deadline. I need to move on to the next thing. And in fact, I already have. I've already started the next knitting project. We're knitting up some socks. This time for my friend Sammy. She has requested some socks for Christmas, and I have done my little cast on. That's literally all I've done. I've done like 10 rows of the ribbing of the cuff. So I have a long way yet to go, but I think this yarn, it kind of like moves between almost a red to like a really like bright magenta. It's basically hot pink, but with some cool kind of variation in there. I love it. I think it's going to make some really, really cool socks. Having said all of that, I think I've done enough knitting for a little while. After this gorgeous dress, my wrist in particular is just a little bit sore, and I've learnt that pushing through that kind of pain just makes everything worse. So I need to take a little bit of break, but I do have more gifts to make and I don't want to fall behind. So what I think I'm going to do today is not do any knitting. I'm instead going to do some painting. I know, right? I know I mentioned at the beginning, I bet you didn't believe me, that I have been learning to paint. I only started maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. I'm not any good yet, but I'm having a lot of fun. And I just think it would be really cute to paint some stuff for some people. Actually, let me show you. Let me show you what I've been working on. So, my very first thing that I painted was... my thing's falling apart, clearly. Well, my very first thing was this little bird and stump. That's the very first thing. Not too bad. I tried it a second time, and I think it looks way cuter. And I've since done a few other little paintings. I did a little fox. Very, very cute. I don't know. I think this one's probably a little overdone, but I'm happy with it. I did a cute little bear. Aww. And I've also done a little chipmunk. So these I'm essentially copying. My friend Sammy, actually the one that I'm knitting the socks for, she suggested these books by Emily Lex Studio, and they're just kind of like guided watercolor books for beginners. Anyway, that's what I've been doing for the last few weeks. It's been a lot of fun. I have also though recently bought the Christmas one. There's a Christmas one. And so like the others, there are 12 cute little guided how to paint these little cute little things. And so I thought it would be fun. I thought it would be fun just to paint a few cute little Christmassy things for some people I might want to give something little and nice and thoughtful to, but I don't have the time or the energy to knit, you know, for a week or two knitting them a pair of socks or something. And I did also get this little tin which has postcards made out of watercolor. I mean, obviously you could just cut and make these yourself, but I found these and so I thought I could make a couple of cute little Christmassy postcards for some people. And I think for this afternoon, I'm just going to aim to do one and see how it goes. So let's get to painting. Okay, so I have spent the last few nights painting my little postcards and I think I'm done. I've got 4, which I think is a good number. And I think I'm really happy. I think they look so cute. Let me show you. So I've got a cute little Christmas tree, which, you know, is nice and simple, but I think still really cute. Next up, we've got Santa Claus. I'm pretty happy with the Santa Claus, especially his cute little like pink cheeks. I think is adorable. I think my favorite to paint though was the wreath. I really enjoy doing like the leaves, the kind of like organic sort of different paint strokes and stuff. And I think it turned out really pretty. And then also we've got this little one, which was the stockings that I started with. And again, I think it turned out super cute. I think they all turned out really cute. I'm really happy with them. Obviously they're not like a huge present or anything, but they're still thoughtful. They still took me like a couple of hours to make. They're still handmade, you know, like there's still definitely some care, some time, some attention that's gone into this. If I have time, I do have more painting that I want to do, but for now we've got some postcards that we can send off. Hello, I have arrived to work early so that I could do a little bit of knitting before we start because work is so busy at the moment that I need a bit of like nervous system regulation after my drive here. But I'm making some good progress, I'd say. I've just started the heel flap, which is my favorite part. I love doing a heel. So I think I told you already, I'm following Summer Lee's basic sock. I'm So Basic, I think it is, pattern. And so this is a heel flap and gusset construction. Very simple. It's all just stockinette other than that. And so this is like a slip stitch heel. And there's something about the slip stitch, the slip knit, slip knit, slip knit that I just find so satisfying. I think one of the reasons I've fallen in love with knitting as hard as I have is because I feel like it's kind of like a structured form of stimming. Ever since I found out that I was autistic, or even before when I just started thinking that maybe it was a possibility and I'd been misdiagnosed, I started trying to do things that autistic and neurodivergent folks say help them, and just to see if it helped me too. One thing that I have struggled to do though is stim, and I think even though I know that I find it helpful, I find it hard to engage in. I get really like in my head about it, and I think that's one of the things that I was definitely very like conditioned out of. I remember getting kind of like roused on or laughed at for fidgeting, stuff like that. And so I think I have found that like a little less easy to like reintroduce into my life, even though I do find it helpful. And so I feel like knitting is kind of like a form of stimming, but like it's structured and it helps me get out of my head. And so I think in part that's why I have enjoyed it so much and why it has become such a big part of my life and why I do it so often and why it has literally become something that I do to regulate. Anyway, all of that to say is that regular knitting is super satisfying and I love doing it, and it just does something to my brain, tickles me in the right kind of way. Slip knit, slip knit, slip knit on a whole nother level. It's like transcendent. So anyway, with all of that said, you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to enjoy knitting this heel so much. News. I finished the socks. Bad news is that I've been a bit sick for the last 2 days and I'm running out of time to get to the post office in time. So if I'm a bit sniffly, I apologise, but we are on a time crunch. These are the socks that I have finished for Sammy. And I just think they're so pretty. They're cousins. What's the saying? They're cousins, not twins. I think these are the best socks that I've made so far. Not that I've made very many. And I think they look really pretty. And I mean, Sammy lives 9,000 kilometers away from me, so I can't test if they fit her. We're just going to have to keep our fingers crossed and hope that when they arrive, they do. But at the very least, I can rest assured that I have made some pretty cool socks for her. Anyway, while we're here, obviously, I'm also going to wrap up little Lucy's little dress. I am still just so happy with how this turned out. I think it looks so beautiful. And then, I mean, I didn't make this, but I am just going to send a calendar for my good friend Sarah, who is Lucy's mum. They're a big cat family, and this is a really cute, fun cat calendar for 2026. And then obviously we've also got a postcard. This one I'm going to send to Lucy's family. I figured there's three little stockings, so one for Lucy's mum, Lucy, and Lucy's dad. I don't know. That was my logic anyway. For Sammy, I'm not going to send a Christmas card, in part because I don't think the Christmas, it's going to arrive in time for Christmas. I think I've missed the boat. What I'm going to send her instead was one of the very first things I ever painted, this little fox. Now, this is obviously, it's not great. There's nothing too special about it. And all of my mixing and figuring out the colors are here too. The reason I want to send this to Sammy is because I think it was the second painting that I painted. Sammy really helped me kind of get into watercolor. It was this silly little notion that I had that I don't think I would have had the courage to actually dive into without Sammy's encouragement and without her guidance. I just wanted her to have a little sample of one of my first little dalliances with watercolor. And who knows, maybe in a year or two I'll be able to send her a much prettier painting. But for now, I just wanted a little memento of my journey and her part in that journey, I suppose. Anyway, I'm so happy with these, and I hope they fit her. I think she's going to love them either way. And I mean, if they don't fit, I'm sure Sammy has other people with even smaller feet in her life that she can share these with instead. I'm not super precious about this sort of stuff, especially accessories that take me 10 to 15 hours to make. Obviously, that's still a lot of time, but I enjoy knitting. Imagine that, I enjoy knitting. So I had fun making these socks. And so if they don't end up working for Sammy, obviously I'll be disappointed in the sense that I was hoping to make something for her. But if they don't, I'm not mad or upset or devastated or anything. I still made some socks, I still got to have fun knitting, and I still got to give a gift to a friend. I feel similarly, although I really, really hope this does work for Lucy because, she's only 3. If her Auntie Katey sends her a present that she can't wear, she's going to be a little bit upset. She's going to be annoyed, which is fair enough too. Also, my friend Sarah told me yesterday, actually, she sent me a message saying that Lucy had found a beanie in their house and she had come to Sarah holding the beanie being like, "Did Auntie Katey make this for us?" So I'm officially the knitting aunt, even though I've only made her 2 things. I made her a vest that wasn't very good and a crown that also wasn't very good. I have definitely improved an awful lot in the last 2 or 3 months. Anyway, with all that said, it's time to wrap our presents and get to the post office so that I can actually get these into the hands of the people that I have made them for. Everything is wrapped and looking super cute. So I just need to head off to the post office and send these. Obviously, this is not all we're making. I also have other things to make for people who are in my everyday life that I don't have to post to, but these were the priority. Like I said, I think we're too late to get Sammy's to her for Christmas, but whatever. These, I really, really want to get to Lucy and her family though for Christmas, and we are running out of time. So I'm going to get these sent off at the post office, and then we're going to move on to some presents for Blair. Something so special has arrived. I kind of want to leave it wrapped up, but I also want to have a look at it and I want to share it with you. But anyway, let me tell you what this is. I kind of have to whisper because Blair is in the other room and this is his like big gift, I would say. And you could argue it doesn't really fit in this video because I did not technically make this, but I did put it together and it took me hours. What I did was I went through the like 30,000 bird photos that Blair took in our first year of birding together. I went through all those photos and I picked my favorite 100 and I put them in a really lovely printed book for him. So should we open it and have a look? I really hope it's as beautiful as I like have been envisioning in my head. I really wanted to get like a nice book. I know there's lots of different photo books that you can get, but I wanted one that was just like a little bit more high end, I suppose, because it's a special present. This was one of the first like great photos that he took. This is superb fairy wren, which are pretty common where we live, but it was just such a gorgeous photo. And it was the first one that he was like, oh my God, can I take good photos actually? So Blair's Birds 2025. It's just bringing back all the, it's just bringing back all the memories of the different moments we had. Look at that swan. I love this one of the ibis that he got. Just gorgeous. Oh, this is another one of my favorites. It's an Australasian darter and the lighting was just so beautiful. And it's just such a striking bird. Look at it. Wow. I love this one too, of the pelican. Just like, you know, we are urban birders for the most part and I just love that. It's really beautiful and I'm really happy with how it's turned out. So this is a very special present for Blair. I need to wrap it up before he discovers it because it is a little bit of a secret. It's kind of like the special present that I wanted to get him, and it was not cheap to get like a nice one of these photo books, but I think it was absolutely worth it. And I think it'd be really cool if like every single year I got him one of these. And so we had essentially like a little portfolio of not only his beautiful photos, but also just our memories together and the different birds that we have been able to see. I hope he really gets to see just how special some of his photos are, you know, and I hope he feels really proud of them. Anyway, with that, I suppose it's time for me to knuckle down and see if I can actually paint one of these birds. I've been thinking about it and like obviously my painting is still, I'm not good yet, let's be very clear, but I think I'm like good enough to pull off something that at least looks kind of nice, even if it doesn't look great. Either I could paint literally this fairy wren because like I said, it was kind of like the first really special photo that he got and it's such a beautiful shot that I think he would recognize it instantly if I were to try and paint it. Second option is to paint an eastern rosella. Because they're incredible. They're so beautiful. He hasn't managed to get too many great photos of them, so I don't think I'd be painting one of his photos, but they are his favorite bird. So I think just painting a rosella, an eastern rosella in particular, would make him really happy. So I'm going to go brainstorm, maybe look up some like reference images, especially for the rosellas, maybe do some sketches, see what I can come up with my very budding rudimentary artistic skills. This is still the thing that I really want to make him, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it well enough to actually want to give it as a gift. But we're running out of time, so I'm just going to try and we'll see. We'll see what comes of it. I have finished Blair's painting and I'm having some complicated feelings about it right now. Obviously, I know I'm a beginner and I wasn't expecting this to turn out perfect. Don't think my proportions are perfect, all of that sort of stuff. That's fine. Also, I should note that I have basically been copying this incredible watercolor illustration by Anika Amflet, I think. I'll leave a link and everything in the description box below. Obviously, if I were trying to like sell this, I would not be copying another artist, but while I'm learning, I think copying is kind of like how you develop and you learn. Anyway, I, for the very first time, tried a couple of new things. One was masking tape. You know how people put masking tape around their paintings, their watercolor paintings, to make a pretty border. And the other was this masking fluid, which essentially you can just, is like a liquid that dries down to keep a place white that you want to keep stark white. I had seen this used in like a Craftsy tutorial that I had been following along on. I didn't have it on me to use during the tutorial, but I thought it would be fun to try. And so I bought myself some, and I should have tested both things on my paper before getting stuck into my painting, because obviously they're something that you remove right at the end after you've done the painting. And both of them tore my paper. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I'm honestly kind of devastated because other than that, I mean, there are definitely elements of the painting that I would change if I were to do it again, but other than the torn paper, I actually think it's not too bad for a first go at something like this. So I'm not quite sure if this is the painting that I'm going to end up actually giving to Blair. I don't think I'm going to have time to redo it before Christmas. But you know, this is all part of the learning process, and I still think that this turned out pretty cute. So the gingerbread didn't go exactly as planned, but luckily I always do a test run, which is what you saw, where I basically make a gingerbread just for Blair and I, and like for family and friends. Because even though I've done this recipe for years, it is a little bit finicky, and I'm so glad I did a test run because I don't know if there's something wrong with our oven, but it took like nearly twice as long to cook. And it's still delicious, but it's a little bit drier than I'd prefer if I'm like giving this to people. I still ended up with a very delicious gingerbread, and I will be making another one tonight for my work friends tomorrow. So this is going to be a redo, but I mean, the first one still turned out fine. Speaking of redos, where the first one turned out fine, but I still wanted to make another, Blair's painting. I did end up making time to have another go at painting an Easter rosella for him. And I'm so glad I did. I got a frame and everything. It feels a little bit like pretentious and presumptuous of me as a budding artist to be framing my work, but I also didn't want to just like hand him a piece of paper for Christmas. But anyway, this was my second attempt. I found a photograph of an Easter rosella that I really liked this time, and I just kind of went for it. I took a lot longer. And I feel like this is so much better than my first try. I'm so happy with this. I think it looks so pretty. Obviously, I'm still a beginner. I've literally been painting for like 4 or 5 weeks at this point. And so I'm sure that in just a month or two, I'll probably look back on this and be like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing. But right now I'm like, how did I paint this? How? I'm so proud of it. I think it's so cute. There are a couple of mistakes and whatever, but I just think it's so cute. And I really hope he's going to like it. We don't have a lot of art up in our house. We've got a few bits and pieces here, and we recently got some birds in our living room that I'm obsessed with. But I kind of like the idea of some more art in our house, and maybe some of that art can be made by me. Oh my God, I've never considered myself like an artsy type. I mean, I did as a kid, but my perfectionism and like the pressure I would put on myself for stuff just got so overwhelming that I stopped enjoying it by the time I was like 10 or 12. And I just have never returned to it as an adult until now. And I'm just really happy. I think it's so cute. I just keep looking at it being like, I can't believe I did that. Which means we are officially done with all of Blair's presents as well. Oh, and I suppose I did do one other small painting. I decided to do one extra postcard this time, a Hanukkah postcard, because someone that I work with that I like a lot is Jewish. And I suppose because I celebrate Christmas and I was giving the gifts, I just kind of like didn't think to incorporate other traditions. But I think especially given what happened in Bondi just a few days ago, I don't know. I felt like it was something that I should do to just kind of like, I don't know, celebrate that part of them as well. And I suppose also just get out of my own little cultural bubble for a second, you know? So again, not perfect, but I do think it turned out kind of pretty, and I hope they really like it. But with that, all of my Christmas gift making is officially done. I'm really happy with everything that I made, and I'm hoping everybody who receives something is going to love it too. Obviously, nothing in this video was huge. I didn't knit anybody a jumper, but I still put a lot of thought and time into making some really cute little presents for some people that I love. And honestly, this has made me enjoy like the lead up to Christmas so much more than I have in the past couple of years, and it's made me excited for Christmas in a way that I haven't been. Christmas is like a complicated time, like for a lot of people, right? But I think doing this whole thing of like taking time time to make stuff for the people that I love has just brought me so much joy. And it has honestly been like making the Christmas spirit for me this year. So I don't know if you're a bit of a crafty guy yourself or you've ever wanted to be. And I mean, you don't have to wait for next December to start making stuff for yourself or for other people. But I do think there's something so joyful in making stuff with your own hands. So thank you so much for spending the lead up to Christmas with me, making all of these gifts with me this month. I'm sending so much love and festive joy to you and yours. Whatever holidays you do or don't celebrate, I hope you find joy, love, tenderness, community, connection, and most of all, amidst all of the chaos and gift giving and whatever else it is that you're doing this year, I hope you take some time to take care of yourself too. A big extra special thank you to my wonderful patrons over on Patreon who have been kindly supporting me all year. An extra big thank you goes to Olivia, Belinda, and Haley. But that is it for me. I'm going to go wrap these final presents, stick them under the Christmas tree, and I will see you again so soon. Until then, Merry Christmas. Bye.